Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Everton 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. A fair result in the end, if I'm honest. I mean, I think I'm not saying we've got away with one, because Brighton didn't do that much, but they certainly had a lot of the possession, 80% of the possession today, even though they've not done a lot with it. Everton, of course, getting that early goal from Vitalii Mykolenko, and obviously a latest own goal, 83rd minute was it, by Ashley Young. I was seen as take a share of the points, which, yeah, it's disappointing because it's a late goal, but I think 1-1 was probably, certainly for us, as I said, probably a fair result, considering we only had 20% of the ball, but we still made more chances than they did. But there you go. That's what happens sometimes, isn't it? That's what happens. Certainly, Brighton seem to be doing this a lot of recent. Certainly having a lot of the ball, but maybe not winning the games. Maybe that's the difference from last season to this season, as they have to contain with European football. But hey ho, that's the way it is, isn't it? That is the way it is, and as teams learn how to play against you, of course, as well. Let's get into the player ratings. Jordan Pickford, 2 saves, one from Lewis Dunk's free kick, which was a good save, although you'd expect the goalkeeper to save it. I haven't watched it again. I was just re-watching the goal we conceded, because I hadn't seen it since live. I was just wondering whether there was anything that he could have done about it. I'm not sure. Maybe if he reacts a fraction earlier, then maybe he saves it. It's a wicked spin, and maybe he couldn't see where it was going. I think it's just one of those things. People probably will blame him for it. People probably will think he could have done better. People can always do better. That's the point, isn't it? People can always do better. But I thought, in terms of what he had to do, he did it without fuss. I still think his kicking needs to be a little bit better at times. I think he has to get his numbers up, although a lot of what he was doing today was long passing rather than passing it out from the back. So Jordan Pickford, I would give a 6.8 for today's performance. Ashley Young obviously scored the own goal, gone from scoring a goal at the right end to scoring the wrong end in the space of a couple of home games. At the end of the day, Ashley Young is going to be the main source of contention about a lot of people when Everton's teams gets picked. You know, Nathan Patterson, for me, last weekend against West Ham, started the game slow and then built as his confidence went. To be dropped in the week and then not to start today, I do find slightly baffling from the manager. If there's a stick to beat the manager with, as we've improved, it's definitely this situation, because I would think, apart from obviously Onana, a lot of people would say full strength team would have Nathan Patterson, and again that's up for debate, because people will say, well, Patterson hasn't really done anything this season, but the difference is one's 38 and one's 22. And I know the manager likes experience, but for me, Ashley Young, Ashley Young used all his experience today, and he did all right. He wasn't. I don't think he's as bad as people are saying. As such, I think he kept Matome quite quiet for a lot of today's game. The problem is in the big moments. I mean, obviously the goal that went in, it's not him, it's Jack Harrison. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But it was Jack Harrison didn't do well enough for that, and it skims off his knee. But there was one a little bit earlier where you could see the writing was on the wall. We were starting to back off, and for me, I would have made the sub of bringing Nathan Patterson on and pushing Ashley Young to right midfield. I would have took Jack Harrison off personally. I would have defended that side 2 against 1, because that's where the threat was coming from, either their wingers or their fullbacks. I think we were dealing with everything inside. pretty well. But I just think that the manager needed to make a decision here one way or another, and he didn't, and he left it far too late. And people, this is what people will, as I said, will use against the manager. Only one ground duel, 1 out of 4. No aerial duels contested. Dribble pass 3 times. Tackles 1, clearances 3. I think it's in the big moments, isn't it? I think it's in those big moments. And a manager will trust experience. But I thought personally the writing was on the wall against Liverpool if you're talking about pace and dealing with wingers. And it only takes when you're playing against someone like Mitoma, it only takes that one moment as well. It only takes that one moment when there's quality. And against Liverpool, obviously, it led to him being sent off. I think the manager should have dealt with that, really. I think he should have. I think that's the one criticism I'd have of the manager today, is that he should have dealt with that, and he didn't. And in the end, we've ended up with a situation where Jack Harrison's running around after him and it skips over him. So I think if Ashley Young had been put at right midfield and Nathan Passon be brought on, I don't think we're conceding that goal. I really don't. So Ashley Young, I would give him a 6 for today. Because I honestly did think he kept Mitoma quiet for a lot of the time. Well, not quiet, but I expected more out of Mitoma. Let's just put it that way. And I don't think he delivered. On the other side, Vitalii Mykolenko got the goal for us. Great to see him in that position. Had a dig with his left foot and then had a shot with his right foot. Good to see someone using both feet. Fair play to the lad. Good to see someone in that area. Clearances 3. Interceptions 2. Tackles 2. Dribbles past only 1. Won 3 out of his 4 ground duels. And again, I thought he was really solid today. Done his job. It was difficult for him late on because again they started putting their fullbacks really high, and then the wingers were then becoming more inside, and they really were overloading us. Again, this is the beauty of having fullbacks who can attack. I say it every week, and that's not a criticism as such of the fullbacks we have got, but it makes such a difference to your team if your fullbacks are comfortable higher up the pitch. It creates these overloads, which if you keep doing it, something's going to come from it. It puts people on the back foot. But I thought Mykolenko played well today, and obviously getting his goal as well. Great moment to cap off what has been a really, really good few games for him. So fair play to the lad. I'd give him a 8.2 for today's performance. Well done to him, and hopefully that continues. He's doing a good job defensively, and he got something offensively today. The 2 centre backs, I thought, starting with James Tarkowski, I thought they dealt with the threat of Ferguson really well. I thought they both did the part in that. Tarkowski won 4 out of his 6 aerial duels, 1 of his 2 ground duels. Very, very consistent. They have been very consistent. Did the job they had to do. So for both of them, certainly for Tarkowski, just a very straightforward game for him. Just dealt with everything he needed to deal with. And both of them are very unlucky not to get a clean sheet. So Tarkowski, I would say a 7.3. Jared Branthwaite on 3 out of 6 aerial duels, 1 out of 3 aerial duels, 3 out of 6 ground duels. Again, pretty solid. I can't really think of any moments he had where there was one little moment in the second half where he had like a very straightforward pass and he gave it straight to one of their players, or didn't put enough on it and it fell to one of their players. Apart from that, I can't really think of anything. It's difficult to like really pick their games apart when defensively we've pretty much dealt with everything. My only worry for Jared Branthwaite is I think he's on 4 yellow cards now, and one more. Obviously, if he picks up another one next week, he'll miss the Manchester United game. Or obviously, if he doesn't pick one up next week, put it this way, the next time he picks up a yellow card, he's going to be missing for the next game. And yeah. So, Jared Brandwaite, I would give a 7. So, those two were fine. Obviously, we missed Onana today. Idrissa Gana Gay come in for him. And again, when you're talking about the squad and talking about what your ideal 11 is, it just doesn't work like that, does it? You're gonna need your players. You're gonna need your squad. That's the importance of the squad. It's something we're lacking massively at the moment. But I thought he did all right. Only 24 touches of the ball, which is amazing. Won 3 out of his 4 ground duels. Only had 1 aerial duel, which he lost. Sometimes, again, found himself high up the pitch and didn't really know what to do. 2 tackles, 3 clearances. He's not Onana. He's not Onana. He doesn't sit in the middle of the park and sit deep and give you that protection and maybe take care of the ball a little bit better than what... Sorry, he doesn't look after like Onana would, sadly. But I thought he did all right today. He looked like he was getting tired towards the end, but you looked over to the bench and there was no one there. I always think that with Premier League players, it's not about physical fitness. I think it becomes down to mental. It comes down to that mental fatigue. And I think that's where he started suffering towards the end. So, Idrissa Gana Gay, I would give a 6.7. James Garner, a few more touches, 39 touches, 74% pass accuracy. Ground duels, won 4 out of 6 aerial duels, 1 out of 2, so 50% on the aerial duels as well. Tackles 4, loves a tackle, 2 interceptions, and 3 clearances. Good solid game from him again. Good solid game from him in the centre midfield. Again, not really on the ball that much. Not really able to create loads. Just, again, because of the opposition we played against. But I thought just a solid game from him, to be honest. Nothing, just what you'd expect from a centre midfielder playing in the Premier League. Nothing. Didn't do anything mad. Didn't do anything bad. Essentially, that's my new catchphrase. So I give James Garner a 7. Jack Harrison, 27 touches of the ball. Won 3 out of his 5 ground duels. It's in the... Well, let's just talk about Jack Harrison for a moment. I didn't think he had a particularly very good game today. I thought offensively, he doesn't do things quick enough. He doesn't do things quick enough for me. He wants to get on the ball and dribble, but then there's simpler things, I think, for him to do. I don't think he gets his head up quick enough. And he doesn't make... I don't think he makes decisions quick enough. And I think that's a part of his game that he's got to improve on. He only actually put in 1 cross today. His pass accuracy is 21%. He had 27 touches. That to me is not good enough. That's not good enough for me. And defensively, for me, it's his fault for the goal in my eyes. People might argue. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they will or they won't. But I think he's a fault for the goal. He lets Mitoma get too far away from him. Mitoma gives him the run around, and then he allows him 5 yards of space basically to put the cross in, which comes off Ashley Young. That to me, I think that's on him. I'm not saying he was terrible or anything like that. I just think he has to tighten his game up massively. I don't think if you're going to double up, I think Ashley Young needs to be closer to him when that happens, by the way. But I just think he allows him far too much space to get that crossing. And I think he has to sharpen up at the other end of the pitch. I do still, and I will say this, if you're a winger and you are playing with a left foot on the right-hand side, you need a right back going past you. That's not rocket science, by the way. That's not like, I've just created this new textbook on football. That's basics. That's the basics of any winger. You need your fullback going past you to create space, to take one of those players off you. That's what upset me about the Mitoma goal. Is Mitoma's on his own, or the own goal, sorry, and there's no fullback taking Ashley Young away or taking Harrison away. It's the fact that Mitoma's on his own. But I think you need a right back, and this is where I think Sean Dyche doesn't quite see it. Is that he wants a fullback who's going to sit. And that's fine on the other side, by the way, because you've got Mykolenko and you've got a player who plays on his left foot. So that's fine. That's not this. It would look big. Listen, don't get me wrong, I'd love to have two fullbacks that one forward. I can get back and create the space, create the overloads. But at least on the left-hand side, because McNeil's left-footed, he doesn't need someone bombing past him all the time. On the right-hand side, if you've got a left-footed winger on the right-hand side, you need a right-back who goes past them. It's just basics for me, that. Absolute basics. And if the manager keeps on picking Ashley Young, he's also hanging out to dry Jack Harrison a little bit as well by doing that, in my opinion. But Jack Harrison also's got to improve, though. He's got to get his head up quicker and make a decision quicker. And he has to just take the ball and run with it or get a crossing. And I don't think he's getting that. I don't think he's making that decision quick enough. So the first point would be a right back who goes past him. Simple as that. But that's on the manager to pick him. Now, the manager might be looking at it. I just think we're losing out on two players because of one position, and that's the right back position. It's not on Ashley Young, by the way, because Ashley Young has been given a job to do, and that's to sit in at right back. It's on the manager to make that decision. If he doesn't think Patterson's ready, then none of us can say anything, can we? We can just put our point of view across. But I didn't think Harrison had a good game at all today. I really didn't. But again, it's difficult because the manager will have wanted Ashley Young to stick to Mitoma. But I think their goal proved that's where you need to double up. I'd have took Harrison off after an hour. I really would have. I'd have took him off after an hour, and I'd have put Ashley Young on at right midfield. I pushed him up at right midfield, and I would have put Patterson, and I would have just said double up, and almost at times let Patterson go forward, and Young sit back. Let Patterson over, go past him. But it wasn't to be. Listen, that's the way it is. So, Seamus Coleman is back, so we'll wait and see how that changes things. But I didn't think Jack Harrison played well today at all. So 5.5 for Jack Harrison. I do think he's got to improve his delivery, and he's got to improve his all-round game. On the other side, Dwight McNeil put the cross in, I think, for the goal, didn't he? Took a deflection, bounced to Mykolenko, put some good crosses in early. No shots on target, one off target at 1-0. Just wonder whether if he took a little bit more care of that, or give him the eyes and maybe bent it in the other corner. Maybe he was giving him the eyes and trying to put it into that corner. I don't know. But 35 touches, 73% pass accuracy. Dribbles attempts 2, 0 successful. Ground duels 4 out of 9. Aerial duels 2 out of 2. Listen, worked hard. Just wasn't his game today. They looked again. They're so snappy. Brighton, they're so quick. Everything they just always seems to have a spare man. So every time someone like McNeil won the ball, it just seemed to fall to one of those players. Didn't do too much in the final third, to be honest. Worked hard, 3 tackles as well. 3 clearances. Difficult for attack. It is difficult for attacking players when you've only got 20% of the ball, especially when you don't know where to go or whatever. But Dwight McNeil, I would give a 6.5 for today's performance. Decore stung the goalkeeper's hands early on. Made them make a save early on, but didn't do loads, to be honest. 26% possession. Touches, 84% possession. Only 2 out of 9 ground duels won. 0 aerial duels contested. Quietest day for him. Wasn't really a game for him. We were going long we were going long quite a lot. And I suppose it was up to him to, if he didn't win the first ball, it was to pick up the second ball, and vice versa. And it didn't really work. I thought we lost too many second balls today. So yeah, I thought, again, I don't think he had a bad game. I don't think you can. It's when you've got 80% possession, opposition got possession. It's hard to say people have bad games, because it's more about shape. It's more about staying in shape and reacting to moments. And I thought he did all right in that. I thought when we went long and Don was winning the ball, I thought. But again, no, it's finding those little moments in the game, isn't it? And it just didn't. Again, it just didn't really happen. But as I said, when you're a team and you only have 20% possession, it's difficult. It's difficult to, because as I said, it's all about shape. It's all about stopping the opposition from doing what they need to do. And that's where it's really hard to judge whether someone's had a good game or a bad game. So the core, I'd probably just give him a 7 for today. Dominic Calvert-Lewin won 2 out of his 4 ground duels, won 6 out of his 12 aerial duels. But what I would say about the ones he lost, he never lost them cleanly. He always made sure he did something with it. Again, he didn't have any chances today. He didn't have any opportunities, did he, at all? He didn't have any shots. He had 1 shot off target. We were going long. He was the battering ram against someone like Dunk as well. It's difficult. That's where you need other players to come into it. It was a difficult game for Dom. Very similar to the core. A lot of the game, if you're not making them chances, is about keeping shape and making it difficult for them. I thought we should have actually gone long more, because I just didn't think there was a way through them when we were trying to play. We don't keep the ball well enough. We're not a very good side in possession. I think we all know that, and I think the manager clearly knows that. I'd have gone long more. I'd have played it either to him or to Corey more and tried to play higher up the pitch. I don't think we did that enough, to be honest. I just would have gone every single time. So Dom, listen, put a shift in. Played 89 minutes, put a shift in, but there was no real opportunities for him. Nothing really fell. Dribble attempts successful, 1 out of 1. Had some little moments in the first half, but it dried up in the second half as they got more and more of the ball. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I would give a 7 as well. The subs, Nathan Patterson, he only came on for the last 5 minutes, so yeah, I'm not giving anything to any of the subs. Although, hang on, Nathan Patterson, 4 ground duels. He had 4 ground duels. We won 2 out of them. Hang on, I'm looking at the wrong stats. I'm talking absolutely nonsense, because I haven't refreshed. Nathan Patterson, yeah, I'm not going to give the subs anything. They were only on for 5 minutes. Would be our last. Yeah, it's all just zeros. The subs were too late. That's what I will say. The subs were too late. The manager should have made subs earlier. Sometimes it goes for you. Sometimes it goes against you. Last week it worked. This week it didn't work. But I think the manager has got to start trusting more of the players. He's brought Patterson on. He brought Beto on. They're both in the 90th minute. I don't know why he took Dominic Calvert-Lewin off at a corner. I thought that was a bit weird. But I think Nathan Patterson should have come on with at least 20 minutes to go. And he should have, for me, put, as I said, him at right back, Ashley Young at right midfield, took Jack Harrison off if he was going to make a sub. I think he's got to start learning to trust the players more. I understand the difficulties that he's facing. He looks at it and thinks, well, if a player comes on and it takes 5 minutes to get going, then I understand that completely. But yeah, I would have made. He's got to make decisions earlier for me, the manager, and I think I'm not saying it has cost us today, because we don't know, but yeah, I think he should have made the subs earlier. But there you go. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the play ratings for today's game. Again, 1-1 draw. I'm not massively disappointed. It's just disappointing the timing, isn't it? It's the timing of the goal. Of course, you think you may have just rid the storm and got out of it, but there you go. Hey ho, I'll take that against a very good side, and obviously a side that last season destroyed us at Goodison. So Let me know your thoughts in the comments on today's results. Make sure you check out Baz's videos. Make sure you check out my Gladys Street reaction as well. Loads of footage from today's game. There you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.